Hi, I'm Brian Buchalter, NCSM's Director of Professional Learning, and welcome to Learning with Leaders. We're all math people. Thank you for joining me and my co-host, NCSM President Katie Arrington, as we talk with bold leaders and influencers about their math journeys and contributions. Today, we will hear from our special guest about their inspiration, perceptions, and insights about instructional decisions that make mathematics welcoming and engaging to a broad audience. Listen and learn about how beliefs, practices, and policies must continue to advance to ensure that each and every person sees themselves as a capable and powerful mathematical thinker.
Hello, listeners. I'm Katie Arrington, and welcome to the NCSM podcast, Learning with Leaders. Continuing our series, We're All Math People, today's episode is a special group of people, the first participants of NCSM's new Fellows program, the mentors and their fellows. I can't wait for you to find out who's here.
Yes, thank you all again so much for hanging out with us today and letting our listeners learn a little bit more about this new NCSM Fellows program. So to give you a chance to introduce yourselves, why don't we go around the screen, so to say, and allow you to tell everyone who you are, where you're from, briefly what you do, and why don't we start with our fellows, and then we'll hear from our mentors that are here. Nancy, we'll start with you, friend.
Sure, I can go first. So my name is Nancy Smith, and I'm currently a math specialist at Dominguez High School and the Compton Unified School District. So I support a team of teachers here in implementing best practices and developing a high-quality math educational program. A little bit more about myself. I've been in education for about 10 years as a teacher, and then about 4 years as a math specialist. And I have a degree in math education. My master's is in math education, and my bachelor's is in mathematics. Did you want more than that?
Right, that was perfect. It was just enough to find you on Facebook.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, I am Johnny Stitz. I am also a math specialist. I'm a secondary math specialist. I serve all math and science teachers, grades 7 through 12. I work in Jonesboro, Arkansas, where I was born and raised. I've been here my whole life. I went to the schools that I now serve, so I take a lot of pride in that. This is my 12th year in education. I taught mathematics for 9 years, and then I came into this role. This is my 3rd year in this role as a math specialist. Went to Arkansas State for the most part. I got a degree in mathematics, statistics. I got my master's in mathematics. Then I went and got my specialist in educational leadership, and then I went and got my doctorate in math education. So needless to say, I love to learn, and I continue to do so all the time.
Thanks, Johnny. This is John Fisher. I am a K-12 math facilitator in Greeley, Colorado. I support math instruction and curriculum for 28 schools. In Greeley, we serve about 23,000 students. I've been in this role this is my 3rd year in this role. Before that, I was an instructional coach for a number of years and then taught. I am not as highly decorated with degrees as my other fellows are, but I'm really excited to learn from this group and excited to be a part of it.
Hi, I'm John Staley. Go on, Brian. You want to say something in the middle there?
Oh, no, I was just rolling out the red carpet for you. And we're so happy to have one of our mentors with us tonight, the John Staley.
Hi, I'm John, and I work in Baltimore County, where this is my 30th year in Baltimore County, my 37th year altogether in education, and excited to still keep doing the work. Past president of the illustrious NCSM, the Math Education Leadership Organization, and then I do several other roles with consulting and advising and sitting on different committees and stuff like that. But I'm really excited about continuing to be a part of what NCSM is really rolling out with this fellowship program. So I'll let them do more to share about it, but I'm just really excited to be a part of it.
Well, we're excited that you're a part of it too. And I loved hearing from everyone's backgrounds and what you have going on. I'm Judy Dunmeyer. I'm joining you from Northwest Arkansas. My background is secondary. I was a secondary math teacher. And then I also spent some time as a regional math specialist and district math coordinator at Camden Fairview. And now I'm a director of instructional support for the integrated state partnership team at Instruction Partners. And I also do a little bit of contract work on the side for Unbound Ed. With NCSM, I'm the inspiration editor, and I'm also the Arkansas affiliate to NCSM is AAML, the Arkansas Association of Math Leaders. I'm the president of that organization. And I'm one of the fellowship, what do we call ourselves?
I don't know.
Supporters.
We hadn't like really given ourselves a title.
Fellowship facilitators, maybe.
Sure, that's what I am.
Support team.
Support team. Well, you guys, if you're not impressed by that list of amazing experiences and education and the work that the folks on this call do, I don't know what would impress you, because I'm considering myself very lucky to be here with this group tonight and talking with Nancy. And I will just mention, we do have 2 Johns and a Johnny. So we'll try to make sure that we get some last names in here to make sure you know who is talking.
We just definitely wanted to make sure we gave a shout out to our 2 other mentors as well who weren't able to join us tonight. Dr. Rebecca Angus out of Wisconsin and NCSM past president Mona Toncheff, 2 phenomenal mentors that have really worked to put this program together, and now they're serving in a different capacity, and we appreciate them as well.
So much. I appreciate everybody on the call, and both Becky and Mona, thank you guys so much for getting this started. And I actually can't wait for our listeners to hear more about the program. So my co-host Brian is one of the fellowship supporters. And so I want to ask him to tell us a little bit about the program. How did it get started and what's really happening with it now?
Yeah, sure. I'll definitely give you the how it got started, and at some point during this time together, I'm going to let the fellows and mentors talk about what's happening now. So back in 2019, the NCSM Board of Directors were really wanting to hear from membership in terms of what were their needs, specifically from our emerging leaders. We wanted to investigate how we could support new leaders in their new roles. And so we sent out a membership survey. And from the data that came from that, we essentially learned that, you know what, our emergent leaders, more than anything, they want the chance to connect. They want the chance to network. They want the chance to talk, to sit by the people who have taken some of these similar journeys and just learn from each other, which NCSM is all about. And so we brainstormed, well, how can we help emerging leaders connect with experienced leaders to have this awesome experience in learning from some of the trailblazers in our field. So the NCSM Fellows Program was birthed, where an emerging leader is matched with an experienced leader. We bring them together at our pre-conference session at every annual conference. And that's kind of the first time that everyone figures out who's matched with who. And so fellows got to meet their mentors, and we all just kind of got to learn each other and really establish our new family of support. Throughout the tenure of the fellows, they have the opportunity to engage in 5 whole group virtual meetings with the whole group. So we talk about just what's happening in our group and offer tools of support. And between those whole group meetings, they're still touching base with their mentors, really having those personal conversations about what's happening in their home landscape and what can we do to solve the problems in front of us. So we're excited. We're so fortunate again to have our fellows first just show interest in the program, but actually commit to building these new relationships and really getting the support to do the things that we love to do day in and day out. So this is our first year rolling out the Fellows Program. We're looking forward to grow in future years. We're looking to accept as many fellows as we can, and we need mentors to help God and walk alongside these our fellows rather. I'm tapping back into John earlier saying leadership up and down, leadership across. And so we appreciate our mentors displaying that leadership and working with our fellows. So that's a little insight, a little history on how this whole thing started.
I would love to give a little shout out to all the people that took over the years who built this, including you, Dr. Buck. I believe you were in from the beginning, and Gwen Zimmerman, Kathy Bowden, Jacob Sisson, Samantha Royer, all who were NCSM board members. And then I think the next year and the next stage, past president now, Mona Toncheff and Becky Angus came on. And then just recently, LaTrenda Knighton and LaTrenda Knighton is NCTM president-elect now, I believe. And she and I joined the work just recently. So I just want to make sure that all those folks who've been in the work from the beginning, I want to be sure that they get some credit there.
Yes, where are my maracas?
On the shoulders of giants, as they say, right? We learn and we grow and we pursue new endeavors at the encouragement of so many leaders in our organization. That's so great. And that leads me to, let's get talking to some of our fellows and mentors. So fellows first, and then maybe John, as the mentor representative here, what convinced you to participate in the fellows program? What was the hook for you?
Well, I can go first. One of the things I was thinking about is just growing up my childhood. A lot of people grow up with listening to gospel as a child or listening to their parents play their classic rock. I grew up listening to my mom play her motivational tapes that were Anthony Robbins or Tony Robbins. And so as a little child, I was exposed to inspirational talk. And then as I became an adult and looking for my profession, I was very blessed to have access to mentors. One of my first educational mentors happened to turn out to be my mother-in-law eventually. And I was mentored as a young educator. She introduced me to more people that became my mentors. And I thrived in that environment of being mentored through my early years of teaching. And then I feel like I reached a point where I was so specialized in mathematics and my mentors were just, educators or retired administrators. And I was looking, to continue to grow professionally, both professionally and personally. And that's when I got access to NCTM and NCSM. I was invited to go to conferences that my school, the schools I was working for encouraged me to go, and I got that exposure. And I walked into the speed leading session that Brian and Judy were facilitating, and I got to meet some of the leaders that eventually became our mentors, like Dr. Stanley and also Mona. Wait, was Mona there? No, I don't think she was there, but I did meet her in previous conferences. And so I just feel really blessed to be selected to be a part of this opportunity, because I have been seeking a mentor that really specializes in math education. And here I am with this opportunity to interact with the mentors and be guided so that I can reach my professional goals.
That's awesome. Thank you, Nancy. I think that's actually where I met John Fisher. I think we might have had a discussion at that session.
Yeah, we did. I was at that speed leading session too. And I thought I'm glad you mentioned that, Nancy, because I'd forgotten about that, but that was a short session, I felt like, or it felt short. It went by really fast because we got to touch base with lots of other folks. And I felt like at that speed leading session, every conversation I had with a person who was well established in the field, just when we got to the point where I really wanted to dig in and ask the questions I needed, it was like, okay, rotate to the next person. So that's part of what made this, what sealed the deal for me with this opportunity was like, okay, so you mean I get to talk to some of these folks who have been in my shoes and have faced these same problems, but it's not going to be like a 2-minute conversation. Like we get to have an ongoing conversation and kind of work through some big challenges and some big things I want to take on. I don't know. To me, that was a really, just a really exciting prospect. And I think even that you asked that question, like what led you to it. It was this kind of the same idea of what led me to NCSM in the first place, which is that, here's an organization of folks that do what I do and have done it for a long time and have see around a lot of the corners that I'm coming up to. And so, so all that I think when I saw that there was an opportunity to have a fellowship program like this, it was not a difficult decision to apply.
Similar story for me as John and Nancy has. I have been, so for me it was a little different in that I had never been to NCTM or NCSM until October of last year due to a series of unfortunate events. I had been trying to go since 2020. I discovered this group of people with similar interests. And they're like, man, this is the math conference of all math conferences. And then COVID happened. And so the stars never really lined up for me. But I spend a lot of time on the websites, the NCTM and NCSM, because they have tons of research, tons of position papers. And then I get on there one day and it's like fellowship program. And so I click on it and, you read the description and that's all it took. I mean, I was just like, of course I want to be a part of this opportunity. And I sent emails. I still have the emails of me emailing NCSM. Did you make a selection? Did I do something wrong? When will I find out? And they were like, just be patient, be patient. And then one day it finally came in my email that I was selected. And I mean, I was over the moon and on that plane about as fast as I could be. And the rest is kind of history right now. So yeah, just being able to work with outstanding leaders and in the field of math education and have an opportunity to learn from them and get ideas and they're already planting seeds within me. I mean, it was just like, how could I not do this? And I'm so glad that I was chosen.
We are too, all three of you.
Absolutely. You guys have been like just model fellows wanting to learn and be a part of a learning community. I think that's what we're trying to build here, right? So John, from the mentor perspective, what convinced you to be
leadership can be lonely. And when you step into a new role in a school system, maybe you're coming from a classroom, maybe you're coming from a leadership role in a school building, but when you start to lead math work for school system at a district level, be it K-12, pre-K to 12, just the middle school, just the secondary side, just the middle school side, or in some kind of specific leadership role in a school building that's just focused on math, it can be lonely. And you need someone that you can just talk to sometimes, so you can just level set, and you can also sanity check. Man, is this right? Am I in the right space? And I remember in 2004 becoming a district coordinator, coming straight out of the classroom, and then going to my first NCSM conference in 2005. And that's when it was like, okay, wow, this is the group of people I need to be around to learn how to be a math leader. And not just learn how to be a math leader, but get tools, get resources that I can use to help build and develop our math program, improve teaching for students. And when the question or the email came over, it was a definite yes, because it's all about not the work that you've done, but about the work that you can continue to do and continue to support. All the things I've done in the past are over. About next and our next set of leaders, and really helping anybody who is like, man, I don't want to do this alone. So that's why I said yes right away. And I think that's probably why the other mentors have said the same thing. We know it's not about us and our past work, it's about what we can do for the future.
Wow. Now that's encouraging, right? To be like, okay, had did this in the past, but where are we going in the future? And who are we going with? Oh, wow. Oh man, you just bless me every time you talk. I almost fell out my chair a few seconds ago. Doesn't take much. So listen, we've got a great group in our fellows program. We're excited. We couldn't imagine doing this with a different group of just awesome individuals. So now I want to hear about what's been going on now that you guys have started your work together. So, as I said before, you had your first opportunity to really meet and match up with one another at our pre-conference session at this past year's annual conference in DC. And so I want to ask each pair, representative of each pair that's here, what does your work together look like so far? What have you guys been doing together, and what do you feel that you've gained even in this short time that you guys have been working together? So I'll just open the floor, and if you want to speak, just say your name so we know who we're listening to, and please share.
This is Johnny. I'll go first. We always make Nancy go first, so I'm going to go first this time. My mentor is actually in between flights right now, so she couldn't be here, but Dr. Angus that's my girl, to put it short. She is the best mentor I think I could have ever asked for. One of the first things we did, after that initial meeting, we met the next day, and she's just like, what are your goals? What do you hope to accomplish? Which sounds so simple, but it's such a deep question, and she really got to force me to get to the heart. We all want, student achievement, but it's deeper than that. And I said, I want students to feel about mathematics the way I feel about mathematics. And that really set her, gave her the focus to help me determine or go in a certain path. And so she set me on a path of looking at the work of Dr. Lacey Robinson, Unbound Ed, and the process called GLEAN, a grade level, engaging, affirming, and meaningful. And she was like, hey, I want you to read this book. And I mean, it's been a snowball effect from there. So she's really been inspirational in some of the work I'm doing now. And I'm very proud to say that this summer we are, Jonesboro Public Schools will be bringing the Unbound Ed Summit to our school district because I just believe in that work so much. I think I convinced the superintendents with my passion. And so we're all in. And that's kind of just where I am right now. And I am so excited. And I honestly don't think I would be doing this if not for this program and for Dr. Angus. So thank you, Dr. Angus.
That's great. This is John Fisher. My mentor is Dr. John Staley. We had a similar conversation at that NCSM conference where we just talked for a bit about, he was like, what are you going after? What do you want to focus on and dig into? And it was a complicated question, Johnny. It's because it's like, yeah, I'm doing a lot of things and it should be simple to just say, oh, I want to focus on this, but it wasn't. But it was nice to be able to talk a little bit about, and we went through a couple different things. Well, we could kind of focus in on this, or we could kind of drill in on that. And I think we landed on something to work on that's really going to be helpful. It's really been helpful so far to have the conversations. One thing I've gotten out of it, there's so many resources out there, and you can pick up so many different books. And I mean, gosh, we could all read like hours and hours every day. I'm sure we all have big stacks of books we want to read, right? But sometimes for me, the challenge is I get bogged down in all the resources. And one of the things I've really gotten from John is his clarity and the questions he asks kind of help me sift through that and just get some clarity and be like, okay, well, what about this? Have you thought about that? I mean, just because he's been through lots of these kind of same situations that I'm facing before, just with his expertise, his experience, he's able to just kind of help me get some focus. So that's one thing I've really gotten. And another thing that's kind of, it's really been nice is, when I I asked my grandma for a recipe one time and she gave me the recipe and I tried to make it and it turned out horrible. Then I asked her to talk about the recipe and she said, okay, okay, well, when you're done boiling the water, then do it. And I said, Grandma, it doesn't say to boil the water anywhere. And she said, well, of course you have to boil the water. So like little comments that she threw out because of her experience and expertise, I picked up, and those were like, wow, that wasn't even on my radar. That's been a part of our conversations too. John will just be talking to me about something and he'll say something that probably isn't a big deal to him, but I'm like, I hadn't thought about that. So anyway, so those are, I think, just things I get from, you get from a conversation with someone like the mentors that we have.
Thanks, John.
I can go next since there's only 3 of us fellows, but I've been working with Mona Tonchef and I feel so lucky and blessed to be working with her. I'm also curious about what my journey would look like in the fellows program if I was partnered with Dr. Angus and Dr. Staley, but I am very, very grateful that I was paired with Mona. And so what our one-on-ones have looked like so far is we both happen to be very busy women who travel a lot. So every time we've been catching up on conversations on one-on-ones, we're both somewhere traveling, but still we end up having very in-depth, lengthy conversations, and they mainly surround around conversations that deal with some of the challenges that I deal with supporting the math department with the high school and the district that I work for. And what I realize is there's so many challenges, and one of the best things that we could do is just kind of focus on the biggest battles. And so what Mona has helped me do is just pick my battles. What are my goals for this year? What will I be focusing on? And once I really honed in on those challenges, we set goals around them, and she gave me resources that I could start reading and digging into. And it just seems to have been very impactful so far. I mentioned earlier that all of the resources that have been gifted to me through this fellowship program have been essentially time on target. Like, I needed support with how to get my team to collaborate more effectively and make collaboration more meaningful. And lo and behold, you guys gave me a whole essential to action framework on leadership. And I started digging into that, and I looked at all the components that make meaningful collaboration happen. And I brought that to my team, and we looked at it, and we basically realized what needs to change in order for us to have meaningful collaboration. So that's one element right there. I'm also focused on grading for equity. We started looking at that book together. I know Mona had experience reading that book, and we here at Dominguez are in the process of starting a book study within our math department. With that grading for equity, it's going to help us really lead the way on changing the way we grade in order to provide more equitable environments and situations for our students. And I know I'm digressing, but essentially this whole experience has really helped me organize my whole approach to supporting the math department here at Dominguez High School, really honing in on those goals and giving me access to some of the most essential resources that are going to impact my team as I move forward.
That's awesome.
Brian, you want me to stay with the same question? Because, I mean, they said it all in the sense of the components of what John talked about. I happen to be working with John Fisher, and it's all about learning. Even from a mentor perspective, it's all about continuing to learn. I think years ago, having a conversation with one of the lead people at one of the book companies, and had this mental idea of writing a book where you were able to walk with someone throughout a year. Be it a brand new teacher, be it a brand new leader, be it someone in a leadership role, and just being able to walk with them throughout the year, to be there to talk with them, to be there to share insights, to be there to let them bounce questions and ideas, and also to learn, because all of us are in a learning capacity. And this experience itself, in our work together so far has really been about me listening and learning about what John's heart is about his work and his system. Because that's the bottom line. When end of this year is finished, this formal setting will be done, but the life setting will still be in place. And so it's not about just walking through 1 year together, but it's about, we're engaged and we'll be together until, till everything is done. And as far as I can tell, there's a whole lot of work to do in math, so let's keep going.
John, I feel like you walk around with a bag of microphones because you drop so many.
Yeah, come on, Judy.
He always has the best sound bites. I know it just like everything is profound. I feel like when you're talking to Dr. Staley. Okay, well, so I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of a challenge that we didn't talk about before. We did say that we were hoping that you would share with us what you hope to get out of it, but I wonder, like, you guys have shared like so much. There's so much going on. I wonder if you can like give us one little nugget, a sentence or a statement about what it is that you hope to get out of this. Like, what's one thing, if you could say this at the end of the mentor program, you would feel like you were very successful? What's that nugget?
I'm going to break your rule and say 2 things, but I'll make it quick.
Okay.
I think that
Fair enough.
I think the really concrete thing that John and I are going after is a secondary curriculum adoption. But he's helping me look at that from a much broader perspective than I had in the past. And so I guess then my big nugget in that context is just to expand my lens as a math leader. How can I leverage this process to make an impact on my system beyond just the process itself? That's kind of what we're digging into.
I love that. I love that. I will tell you, my curriculum adoption year was my first year as a leader in a formal leadership role, and I thought I was going to die. So I'm glad that you have support in that process. It's a tough one. So I know what you're going through, John, and I'm sure you're going to do great with it and have a lot of support and call if you ever need anything. All right. What about our other fellows?
I can go next. So as far as what I hope to gain from this whole experience, one thing is mentorship, leadership experience, how to mentor someone, a sort of a structure and a protocol to mentor others, because I've seen how mentorship has been so impactful in my life. I've mentored people, professionals, informally, I want to say, but this experience provides a very solid structure of what mentoring could look like in a formal setting. So that's one thing that I feel like I'm already gaining from this experience. I feel like I'm growing professionally by getting access to all these, not just resources, but they are, I feel, in my opinion, the latest and the greatest resources that can truly impact our schools and reduce the inequities. And just having insight from all of the people that I'm interacting with, networking, learning more about advocacy and policies and curriculum, research, implementing best practices. Those are some things that I've already gained from just having access to all of you. And I feel like as we continue to meet throughout the year, I'm just going to learn more and grow more, and that's going to impact everything that I'm dealing with over here in the Southern California, Compton.
Well, mine's a little bit corny, but I think the one thing I hope to truly take away from this experience is the gain of friends. I can't say enough about Dr. Angus, and I know that this program is only for a year, but I hope that the relationship that we have built doesn't stop after that year. I hope that we can continue. I hope that I can see her as not just a mentor, but a colleague and a peer that I can go to anytime I'm having trouble with anything or struggling through anything. So that's kind of what I really hope to walk away with is this never ending relationship.
That's amazing. You guys, so I've been taking notes, And I heard you guys talking about in the whole episode, helping to define a path for you and helping you to pick battles and helping you to focus and have some clarity. But I've also heard so much about building relationships, right? And that those are the things that are really going to carry us forward. So there's the in the moment stuff, and you're going to learn so much from that. But all of the relationships that you're building are just going to be so powerful. So I appreciate all of the input on that. John Staley, what's your nugget? What do you hope to, if you had to narrow it down to one thing?
So what I hope to get from this experience, wow. Here's what I hope to get from this experience, that the opportunity to contribute to NCSM's first fellow program like this becomes something that can be sustained and help support new leaders, especially in their role and capacity ongoing. I'm hoping that this is a good catalyst that helps the organization really build it and blow it out the water, because like I said, there's much work that needs to be done. And I think we'll learn a lot, but we are also in a space of just locking arms and running together. So just continue to think about that work and that capacity. I'd like to be a part of this first. I'm excited for it.
I want to add on to Katie, to what you said, but also to what John just said. About the relationships we've built. Even after that first meeting at the pre-conference, like there was a family there, and every time through the rest of the conference, we would see each other, and it was, I don't know, for me, it was very exciting to see each of our fellows and our mentors, and like, hey, we're all part of this family together. And as far as the sustainability that John was just talking about, we look forward to Nancy, Johnny, and John being mentors down the road. So we're definitely looking for this to be a cycle.
Judy, you're so right. As I was listening to John, Johnny, and Nancy tonight, honestly, I had like a Back to the Future kind of moment where like I just saw them in years ahead, leading other leaders, because I've personally seen this cycle before. And so I know the power that exists in being able to connect with someone that you look up to and can learn from. Because I myself may have had an experience like that with the John Staley. So I'll always tell this anywhere I go. So you're absolutely right. We're listening to, I think, our next generation of, our math trailblazers and leaders. I speak that into existence now.
Absolutely. And, we have a lot of evidence. We talked as a board last year. We asked everybody to talk about how they got involved in the board work, and every person to a T said someone invited them. Someone looked at them and said, you belong here. Please come do this. We'll support you. We have a membership survey that we just got data in, and a large majority of people joined NCSM because someone told them you belong here, right? So all you listeners out there, all the math leaders, think about who you can encourage. Think about who you can mentor. Think about how you can bring in. We need lots of good math leaders, right? So big takeaway from tonight.
Yes, absolutely. This is my least favorite part of every episode. As we start to bring our time together to a pause. I'm just going to say a pause for now. I want to give this last question to you, John Staley, because I've heard your response to this before. We've had this conversation, and I just really want to give you an opportunity to share these thoughts with our listeners. The title of this series of our podcast is We're All Math People. And so I want you to offer your thoughts on what would you say to a person who would maybe say, well, math just isn't my thing and I'm not a math person. What would you say?
I would look at them, and really this is all hard work. And being a math teacher and being a math educator is about hard work, I believe. And I would basically share with them or talk with them about, wish I'd had the opportunity to be engaged with you as you were learning, or somewhere along the lines, something might have turned you off to it, or something someone said might have made you think that you're not capable, but you are, and you are still capable. Let's go when you want to get together. And now that you understand Zoom, Google, and all that kind of stuff, we can connect and do some things virtually just to have you thinking about math a little bit differently in some aspect. Not that I'm going to change you into a mathematician, but I'm going to help plant a seed in you that you are a person who can do math, create, think about it, and be about math. Despite what people have said, you can and you will. And what time do you want to get together? So that's what I would tell them, and we go from there.
I love it. My favorite part is what time do you want to get together?
Let's make a date. Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thank you all for your time and your efforts. I love this community that we're building, that is not only nourishing, but encouraging of people stepping up into leadership roles and really making a big impact on the system. And not only in their own systems, but already thinking about how to mentor others. I love this. I love this community that we're bringing together. So appreciative of the learning mindset here. So before we leave, real quickly, Judy O'Brien, tell us how our listeners can find out more about the Fellows Program.
Sure. Our listeners can go to NCSM's website at mathedleadership.org. As one of our professional learning opportunities, we offer this Fellows Program. So you could just find the Fellows Program tab, click, and we will be looking to start our second cohort sometime late summer, so that we can get together at the pre-conference session at this year's upcoming annual conference in, drumroll, anyone knows where it is?
Chicago.
Chi-Town!
My favorite city, Chicago.
So
Awesome.
yeah, so definitely check out our website for more information. We'll be releasing applications for our next cycle pretty soon, as I said, and coming this spring and summer. We'll be looking to start cohort 2 of this Fellows Program.
All right, y'all, keep your eyes out. We'll put a link directly to the page where the application will be in the notes for the podcast. Thanks to our fellows, thanks to our mentors that are present and not, and thanks to everybody who's helped to build this program. I think it's so promising, and we have so much good to do. So thanks everybody for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
We hope that you have been inspired by this bold mathematics leadership conversation and will tune into our podcast series each month. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with others, post about it on social media, or leave a rating and review. You can learn more about NCSM, Leadership in Mathematics Education, and our upcoming professional learning events on the NCSM website, mathedleadership.org. You can also follow NCSM on Twitter at mathedleaders and using the hashtag NCSMBold. Until next time.